Kemi, I'm Olunloyo, Nigerian journalist. There's a new feature I'm going to be doing called Did You Know? Did you know it's just an information section where you can know things you don't know. We used to have something in Canada called Everything You Need to Know. Do you need to know everything? Some people say, I don't need to know, it's not my business. You actually do. You need to know everything. That's why we are journalists, and that's why you're the masses that we inform. If we didn't tell you what the news is going on, if we didn't tell you what's going on in the news, you wouldn't know what's going on. You would know if there's a fire down the street, a car is burning, or somebody's robbing the supermarket at gunpoint or the bank. If you don't know, you walk into this nonsense and you can be in danger. That's why the news is very good. So everything you need to know is coming very soon in detail. Okay, now today let's start with Linda Ikeji. Things you need to know. When I educate you about things you need to know, I'll tell you about the story and what's behind it and how you can learn from it. Did you know that Linda Ikeji was once arrested for owing a bank money? In the 90s, we had a lot of banks, many frivolous banks that went out. Many of them, people lost all their money, their life savings. Anybody that was at the Hebrew Bank, Oceanic, got their money transferred to EcoBank, but the pain they had to go through to get all their money, oh God, you don't want to know. In those days, banks were like a place where you borrow money. Linda was starting her blog, she's starting her business, her modeling thing. She was starting, so she borrowed money from the bank. And she owed the bank couldn't get their money on time. And guess what? They called the police, and the police came and arrested Linda and took her in. And they sorted it out later, and they released her. These are stories you'll not hear anywhere. Maybe Linda herself has told the story, but if you're going to borrow from a bank today, my advice to you is that be very careful. Know who you're doing the business with and have concrete terms when you're borrowing money from the bank. Now, I'll give you another example. Young man called Akinkunle Olunloyo. He went to the bank with his friends, 3 friends, 4 of them. They borrowed 40 million naira. They wanted to open an event center. The bank said they never did. They just made away with the money. When the bank called the EFCC or the police or whoever they used, the authorities were called on them, and one of them was arrested. The other 3 fled the country. The one that was arrested was my cousin, Akinkunle Olunloyo. You must have seen it or heard about it in the news. You can Google it up. There was the stories about he was Kemi Olunloyo's brother or the governor's son, and that's when I said, wait a minute, hold on, this is not my brother. I don't even know who this is. Let me find out from my dad. He turned out to be my uncle's child, my late uncle. Okay, my father has a stepbrother, Professor Vincent Olusegun Olunloyo. He's late, but he shares the same initials as my dad, VOS, Victor Malolu Showemimo, and Vincent Olusegun Showemimo. So it was Prof, we call him Prof, it was Prof's son. And Akinkunle happened to be months old when I left for abroad, so I didn't really know him or who he was. So he's my first cousin, really. And then it was my investigation as an investigative journalist that morning, because it was on every television, newspaper, or radio, that made me really investigate who is this and why everybody's doing this. I remember calling Mariah Afolabi at home, Mariah from TVC, because they were going to do the newspaper review, and I said, I don't want to hear this thing again on newspaper review. So Mariah now was doing her newspaper review and said, oh, Kemi called me this morning and said, this is who it is. So at the end of the day, Akinkunle owes 40 million along with 3 other people, and he ended up paying 26 million. My uncle paid 26 million before he died, and the rest of the money is still outstanding. Nobody knows where the other friends are, and the media never reported that 26 million was paid. So I got mad at everybody. Okay, I called Sahara reporters to retract everybody. You know, she's not my brother, she's dead. And the Nation did a great story clarifying the thing again. So I told you that story to learn a lesson. When you are borrowing money from a bank, make sure you have concrete terms, everybody sign, and you know the terms in which you're going to repay the money. Banking is different now. We have BVNs now, fingerprints, and so much more. And when you're opening banks, be careful. New generation banks are still questionable. Diamond Bank is gone. You know what went wrong there. If you don't know, go Google it. What happened to Skybank? Look at the MD of Skybank all over the EFCC net now. You need to know what happened, and Sky became Polaris. Diamond became Access. You need to know what's going on, because even first generation and second generation banks, okay, are still questionable with the financial dealings. And it boils down to one thing: Nigerians managing these banks, and they corruption. And all these MDs, were they paraded? No, they're not. It's you they're going to parade. You, the rapper, the ordinary person. So keep learning from me, and we'll put this under Kemi Talks Money. And everything you need to know, we'll be back. Kemi Olunloyo, May 13th, 2019.